When it comes to trial, what do you think is the trial of the 20th century? It could be 1946 Nazi war crime trial, 1995 O.J. Simpson trial, 1999 Clinton impeachment trial. Also, what would be the top 10 historic trials that shook the world? I Googled it. I cannot share all of them, but let me share a couple of them. Number 8 is the trial of Martin Luther in 1521. Number 6 is 1632 Galileo trial. Number 2 is Socrates trial in 399 BC. And number 1 is Jesus trial. I don't know how accurate it is, yet generally speaking, I agree with it. The most famous trial in history would be probably the trial of Jesus before Pontius Pilate. Today's text describes the trial of Jesus. Members of the Sanhedrin took Jesus before Pilate. They accused Jesus of a threat to Roman occupation by opposing the payment of taxes and calling himself a king. One of the primary functions of governors at the time was to collect taxes. As a representative of the Roman Empire, Pilate was responsible for tax collections in Judea. Additionally, the Jewish leaders explained to him that Jesus presented a threat to Roman occupation through his claim to the King of Israel. In general, historical records describe Pilate as a ruthless governor. According to ancient Jewish writer Josephus, when the Jews demonstrated, Pilate had his soldiers surround the demonstrators, threatening them with death. Also, Jews protested his actions. Pilate's soldiers randomly attacked, beat, and killed scores of Jews to silence their petitions. In today's text, we can see another character of Pontius Pilate. He was very smart because he noticed that Jesus was an innocent victim. He knew that the charge against Jesus originated from the jealousy of the priests and elders. So he tried to release Jesus, but eventually he sentenced Jesus with a wrong verdict. I think Pilate was afraid of public turmoil. Also, the Gospel of Mark records that Pilate wanted to please the crowd. In other words, to him, what was true or false was not that important. Keeping his political career was more important. Pilate, in fact, had a strong military power enough to silence the Jewish leaders because he was a governor. Yet he didn't want to make a problem. So he scapegoated Jesus in spite of Jesus' innocence. Pilate washed his hands with water in front of the crowd, saying, "I'm innocent of this man's blood." Brothers and sisters, have you been to a court before? I've been there before a couple of times to appeal to the judge for traffic tickets I got. It was a good opportunity to watch various facial expressions of people there. According to the verdicts of the judge, some people were smiling while others were unsatisfied and upset. I was able to see the verdict of a judge is very powerful. According to the verdict of a judge, an innocent person can be a criminal. On the other hand, a bad person could be innocent and free to go. Pilate had a political and military power to change the situation and had a power to say no at the trial of Jesus, but he didn't do it. He appears in all four Gospels in association with the responsibility for the death of Jesus. He gave up his responsibility and put Jesus on the cross. Therefore, we always remember him whenever we say the Apostles' Creed. There are some legends which describe the life of Pontius Pilate after he sentenced death to Jesus. A legend says that he fell under misfortunes and was exiled and eventually committed suicide. Anyhow, what kind of lessons can we learn from Pilate, the trial of Jesus? It is that we need to support truth to the end. Pilate knew what was right, yet he changed his opinion. He easily transferred his responsibility to others. He knew how to succeed in society. He easily compromised justice with injustice. We are sometimes able to see the flexibility of Pilate in our thoughts, in our deeds. We easily give up truth because we are afraid of isolation from majority. Brothers and sisters, why is the world filled with injustice? Don't you think it is because people do not know what is right, what is wrong? I don't think so. They know it. They know what is right, what is wrong, but they don't have courage to support and practice truth. It is easy to know what is right, what is wrong, but it is difficult to live up to truth. In order to avoid disadvantages, in order to be successful in society, people easily manipulate truth or innocent people. In 1989, we remember a man standing alone in front of the tanks in China. He is called Tank Man. Can you see the column of tanks in China, Beijing? A man is standing before the column of tanks. I think the photo is one of the most famous photographies of the 20th century. There are several conflicting stories about what happened to him after the demonstration. Some say that he was executed 14 days later by Chinese government. Others say that the man is still alive. We don't know what happened to him after the incident, but we do know that he had courage to stand against what is wrong. I'm pretty sure he was a whistleblower. A whistleblower is a person who tells the public about alleged dishonest or illegal activities. It is probably that many people do not even consider blowing the whistle, not only because of the fear of retaliation, but also because of fear of losing their relationship at work and outside work. Jesus was a whistleblower. He blew the whistle against group thinking of the Jews. Jesus was the victim of the group thinking of the crowd. Unfortunately, there was no whistleblower during Jesus' trial. At the time, everyone concealed their identity. Many of them wanted to be just crowd. I'm pretty sure many of them knew that Jesus was innocent, but one of them didn't. Nobody blew the whistle. It could have been better if there had been at least a whistleblower at the trial of Jesus Christ. Brothers and sisters, as we observe the fifth Sunday of Lent today, Sunday before Palm Sunday, we need to reflect upon what happened in the trial of Jesus before Pontius Pilate. Soon, Jesus will be faced with the trial again. Pilate, he didn't say no to please people. He did not have courage to say no. To our surprise, at times we see Pilate's irresponsibility within us. We can see Pilate's flexibility within us. Oftentimes, we blame Pilate, but sometimes we become Pilate. This morning, let us suppose that each of us is expected to make a verdict about the trial of Jesus. What is your verdict? And what is going to be my verdict about it? Brothers and sisters, let us continue to be with Jesus until the last moment of the Lenten season. Amen.